Hi friends and subscribers and gardeners, yay! It is spring here on the homestead, which means back to Eden gardening, yes, yay! We have been out in the garden all day and it's just, I love being out in the garden. I love getting my hands dirty, being on my hands and knees and just planting, and that's what we've been doing. We wanted to show some of you friends at home some of the successes we had over the winter. We overwintered, our peppers, and we overwintered some of our tomato plants, so we wanted to share that with you and just do our very first garden tour. We're just scratching the surface right now, just like many of you friends at home, so why not? I thought let's just do a real quick garden tour and share with you friends how we're doing and what's going on in the Back to Eden garden. So, okay, let's get going. It's a great day. The sun's not out, but I tell you, it's warm. It's beautiful. We had some really nice rain for the last couple days. Perfect garden weather. So let's go see. Spent too much time on it, but this was one of my very first projects when we went off the grid, and I incorporated obviously the Back to Eden garden method, because you'll see there's still tons of wood chips still in this area, but I also utilize permaculture, and I will be doing a lot more permaculture videos this season because I want to share our success on our homestead with utilizing that philosophy. I love permaculture. It just takes the environment that is around you and uses everything in a very constructive, productive, working with nature manner. So it's kind of cool. Oh, Mr. Hilder's kind of loud because I sound like an infomercial sometimes, but it is cool. And permaculture really does work. And the rocks, a lot of people hate rocks. Now, as you see, this was one of my projects early this spring. I hauled in wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow of rock, and it doesn't look like much, but I'm telling you, friends, I was sore from every day hauling all this rock. But rock is, it gives off minerals. It helps control moisture. Rock is usable. It is a usable part of a garden. And I think a lot of people look at rock as a nuisance, and it isn't. So I am going to do more videos on the permaculture and the use of rock and everything. But I love rock. I love rock. And you will see in our homestead more permaculture, more rock use. I utilize it all. So, okay, so let's get to the gardening part. Look at that celery. Isn't that beautiful? So if you remember, I don't know if you do, it was over there. And Mr. Hilder just transferred it over here because we're trying to organize the beds right now. This bed here, and you're probably asking, where are the wood chips? This is the bed where the wood chips are still in there, but they basically have decomposed over, I think it's been like 3 years, probably, with these wood chips.
You can see them on top here.
Yeah, they are still there, but much less than our other beds. And this bed decomposed beautifully, creating rich organic, live soil. And we're not layering anything else on top of it right now. What we did is we're doing our potatoes over here, and we planted those. When did we plant those?
About 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago, and you can see they're already coming through, and this is the method that we're choosing. We are actually doing it right in the dirt this year, and Mr. Hilder wants to interject here.
Because you can see I sort of trenched it out, and then as they grow up, I'm going to take, you can see the little bit of the revolves, it's going to be reversed. I'm going to pull the dirt into the plants here. I don't know what that one's doing over there, but
that's a wild one.
Another one over there.
Oh yeah.
They're not supposed to be in. No, I don't know what's going on, but a couple of them are out of sync there.
They're out of. Mr. Hilder likes order in his garden.
I'm one like Starry.
Yeah, Starry.
I like to have things where I know where they're at, and I like things in straight lines.
Yeah.
I made her use strings this year because she plants
crooked,
wavy.
I'm crooked. Yeah,
all kinds of.
I'm a little crooked. So that's the deal with the potatoes over there. We're not experimenting anymore. This is the method that has worked. And we had high production with it being in the soil. The next change in our garden is we're planting corn, rows of corn. So what's going on here?
Yeah, you got to pull it back and see. This is where I've noticed some people with the comments, they get, if you have problems with weeds, you don't got enough stuff on top. You don't got enough mulching and wood chips or whatever. You can see these beds here, I've got tons of stuff on top.
Okay.
And so I had to get down to the actual soil there. You can see how thick this stuff I got.
Yeah, it's at least 12 inches.
I had to pull it back a little bit, but be assured there is no weeds grow here.
Right.
And then when these plants get established, I'll just push this back down around the plants, and I've got this much for moisture and weed control. It's unbelievable.
So if you're having problems at home with weed control, put more on. Layer more on. That really is the key with the Back to Eden method. Because sooner or later, those weeds, they're not going to survive. They're going because this garden basically is weedless. I mean, it's weedless. Project I want to share with you friends at home was the pepper plants. Now, we had 15 pepper plants, if you remember, that we dug up, we cut down, and we brought inside. It was a lot. It was a jungle. And we ended up successfully having 8 survive. And I tell you, they were doing really, really well, and it wasn't until probably, the last couple months where
they got sort of dry.
They got sort of dry, so we lost some. But that's okay, because we ended up with really nice 8 pepper plants that are healthy, and as you see, we're going to now transfer those into the ground, and we have them in our hoop area, and they will be covered during the nighttime. The other reality of pepper plants is they are very hard, at least for us, to start off the grid, because we do lack the use of the lights and the heating mats. And pepper plants can be difficult. I don't know if you friends at home have problems, but we do. So there is no shame in spending some money and buying pepper plants at a garden center if you have to, or if you have privy to friends and family who have greenhouses and asking them to start some seeds for you. There's always alternative methods. But, I know people who are looking at creating a self-sustainable homestead, they feel a little guilty when they actually have to go and buy some plants. Well, yes, we are on a budget, and you want to be as frugal as you can. And yes, the goal is to 100% hopefully be able to start your own seeds. But the reality is sometimes you just can't. And as long as there's a garden center and there's plants that are available, the goal is you want food, right? You want production. So we did end up buying some pepper plants here. You can see them right here. There's a couple different varieties. We didn't buy a lot because we have these. And I'm probably going to be getting some more from some other friends, which I got last year for free. I love my friends. That's kind of the benefit of living in this community. Everybody gardens, and it's like everybody has a green thumb. So what I lack, I can usually get from a neighbor or a friend. So pick your region wisely when you decide to go off grid or start a homestead. Here are onion sets. And I know they look a little bit dry, but that's okay. We've been watering them. We do onion sets. These are actually Walla Wallas, so we've got a whole bed of Walla Wallas. And we had success with the other seeds that we started. Here's that we have started from seed with our off-grid method. Look how beautiful those are.
Some survived.
Yeah.
Good.
Beautiful. And our tomato plants, we'll have to show people the tomato plants and how well those are doing.
A couple survivors of the jar method. They make it.
So these were the 2 survivors of the jar method, and if you remember, one of my Back to Eden very final videos had us taking the shoots and cutting them and then sticking them in a jar over the winter, and it was an experiment. 2 survived. That was it.
Actually, I think there's 2 here. This looks real healthy.
Oh,
These will make it.
All right.
That's the last. That should make it. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
We had some other ones. They just kept sort of dying off. Probably should have put them in some dirt earlier. I don't know if they weren't getting nutrients or whatever, but they made it. And then got some tomato plants. Are looking great.
Back to Eden tip 101. And as you can see, Mr. Hilder is out here with his rake, and he's pulling back a horde of wood chips. and whatever else we put on the garden that we utilized, right?
Yep.
And the reason why you're pulling it back.
Yeah, because you got to get it down to the actual, you want to get down to the actual soil.
So we're planting new seeds.
And then as the seeds, once the seeds come up, like say this carrot is here, then we'll push this heavy mulch and wood chip back around the plants. But we need to get the plants established. We just can't plant the seeds in this top layer of stuff
Okay,
here.
so that's one of the things, if you're new to Back to Eden, you don't plant in the wood chips. You have to rake the stuff back.
Rake it back until you hit dirt.
It's over here a little while ago, and this garden section had tons of wood chips on it at one time, but over the course of season after season, with the layering, it has decomposed and made rich organic soil. So this basically is just rich composted soil is what you're looking at. So you see the difference between this section of the garden and this section over here, which is heavily layered, and the soil is a little bit deeper. So it's going to vary from garden to garden. Don't freak out. Every garden has a different amount of layering on it. The bottom line is, when you are first starting to put your seeds in the ground, you got to push all of those layers, just push them gently away. And then once I wanted to pan over here and show you the pond. This is so cool because it is early spring and our pond is full. We had a great winter runoff, and you know, this is the thing on our homestead. We had that 100-degree weather for months on end here. We had fires, and the beauty of the Back to Eden garden method, it saved us because that pond actually dried up. The spring kept producing, but we didn't have any extra water here on the homestead, so to speak. And we didn't need any extra water because that wood chip method provided great moisture retention. And while other gardens were dying and choking off, we didn't have to worry. So, okay. Thanks for coming along on the very first tour. Just getting up to par right now. We're just getting things in the ground. We're just starting to plant, and I'm so excited. And the next time you see a new video from Starry Hilder, it's going to be 1 month. And hopefully you will see how fast the Back to Eden garden grows and produces with minimal effort. Okay, there are the homestead chickens. We're going to say goodbye for now, and God bless.